everybody. So today is your first video in Algebra 1. And today you've got note sheets in front of you, and I'm going to go slow, and there's going to be things that you see along the way that I want to make sure you pay attention to. You stop when the video stops. You pay close attention to the things that I ask you to do on your own, and if there's any question, we will go over it tomorrow in class. But we're going to start by looking at what you guys have been working on for many years. Order of operations, okay? And I'm sure that many of you at this point have heard the term PEMDAS. PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S. PEMDAS is just a way for you to remember how to remember the order of operations. And some teachers like to use the mnemonic phrase, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Well, to be honest with you, if it were going to be up to Coach Fred, I actually wouldn't use P. I'd use G, GEMDAS. Gosh, excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Why would I use G? Well, P means just parentheses. And unfortunately, when you're doing order of operations, it's not just parentheses that matter. It's grouping symbols. Grouping symbols are parentheses. They're brackets, and even other types of parentheses. And they are also fraction bars, okay? Fraction bars are grouping, meaning you have to do what's on the top of the bar first, what's on the bottom of the bar second. So you have to do these individually before you put them together. Then we do our exponents. Okay? We do multiplication and division together from left to right. And then we go on to addition and subtraction from left to right. Multiplication and division has to go before addition and subtraction. Okay? All right, moving on. Let's practice this. I'm going to start with some very basic examples, and I want to make sure that you can do them. I look at this problem, I see grouping symbols. I've got to do my grouping symbols first, my GEMDAS. So 4 plus 5 gives me 9. So 36 divided by 9, which is 4. Notice that I wrote that step. You have to show me work. So you have to show me at least one step, sometimes two. Here, 24 minus 12 plus 3 divided by 5. I'm going to do my parentheses first. So 24 minus 15 divided by 5. Now it would be really tempting to do 24 minus 15, but that's not the proper order of operations. I would do 15 divided by 5 first, because multiplication and division goes first. So 24 minus 15 divided by 5 gives me 3. And 24 minus 3 gives me 21. Okay? Thumbs up? Let's hope so, because those are easy. Moving on. We've got 4 times 3 plus 6 divided by 2. I'm going to do the multiplication and division first before that addition. So 12 plus 6 divided by 2 is 3, and then 12 plus 3 is 15. I don't want to see the number 15 written and that all. I want to see at least one step on these order of operation questions. As they get harder, you're going to have to show me steps. Remember, it's algebra, so it's not about the answer, it's about the process used to get there. All right, 6 minus parentheses 2 squared minus 1. So I've got to do what's in the parentheses first. However, those exponents have to be done before the addition and subtraction in the parentheses. So it would become 6 minus 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1 gives me 3, so 6 minus 3, and 6 minus 3 is 3. Moving on. And you know, Coach Fred can sometimes make mistakes on these videos, so if you catch it, I give you a bonus point. All right, longer. 19 minus 7 plus 12 times 2 divided by 8. Okay, well I see some multiplication and division. I don't see the grouping symbols. I don't see exponents, so I go on to the multiplication and division from left to right, which means I have to do the 12 times 2 first. So 19 minus 7 plus 12 times 2 is 24 divided by 8. Then I do 19 minus 7 plus 24 divided by 8 is 3. Okay, now I do the multiplication, I do the addition and subtraction from left to right. 19 minus 7 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. If you got it right, let's see a smile. Kind of should be getting it right. All right, moving on. 18 minus, oh, there's those brackets. Now I've got brackets and parentheses. You always want to go to the innermost first. Innermost first. So we've got 18 minus 52 divided by 7 plus 6, which is 13, okay? Now, I go to the next set of brackets. 52 divided by 13 is 4. So 18 minus 4, which gives me 14. One thing I want to make sure we do this year too is I always want to make sure you're boxing your answers. Box those answers so I know what you want me to grade, okay? All right, now I threw in that grouping symbol, that third one that we sometimes forget, the fraction bar. The fraction bar, that means I have to do the top, the bottom separately, then put them together. So in the top, I've got multiplication and addition. I'm going to not forget that I got to do that multiplication first. I'm going to get 8 plus 6, which is 14. In the bottom, 4 plus 3 is 7. So 14 divided by 7 gives me 2. Okay? Hopefully you're feeling pretty good. I'm moving on because sometimes you're going to see things. Oh, I have 2 of them. Let's do the next one. 8 times 5 plus 2 times 7. Got to do the numerator, then the denominator. We like those words, numerator and denominator. Numerator is the top, denominator is the bottom. 8 times 5 will give me 40 plus 14, which gives me 54. Look at that beautiful work I did. I can read it. I've got a step there. Then I've got grouping symbols and these grouping symbols. I've got to do that 7 minus 4 first. So I have 2 times 7 minus 4, which is 3. 2 times 3 gives me 6. Now, 54 divided by 6, there's a math fact. 9. Love it. Okay. You guys are doing good. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for you. This is really review. When Rob simplified the expression 72 divided by 6 plus 3, his answer was 8. What was Rob's error? Not how do you do it right. What was his error? How did he get 8? Well, let's see. I think he might have done 72 divided by 6 plus 3, which is 9. He did 72 divided by 9. You can't do that because what? That division has to come before that addition, okay? Be very, very careful. It's very easy to make a mistake with order of operations. And if it's multiple choice, I bet you that wrong answer is going to be there. All right, we're going to move on to evaluating expressions, okay? Evaluating expressions. Evaluating expression just means plug the value in for the variable. Plug the variable in for the variable. I'll give you a second to write that. Plug the value in for the variable. I'm just checking to make sure that we're having no problems with the video. All right, plugging something in means substituting it in. Substituting it in. Actually, in geometry, I call substitution the plug it in postulate. You take the value and you plug it in. An example, it says evaluate n minus 7 for n equals 15. It means take 15, plug it into the expression or the equation for n. So the question now becomes 15 minus 7. And when we evaluate it, it means simplify it. So substitute, then simplify, and we get the number 8. That's all evaluating is. Okay, now we're going to put it all together. We're going to make it a little bit harder, okay? We're going to evaluate and then follow our order of operations. If A equals 1 and B equals 2 and C equals 3, we're going to evaluate the following. All right, so I'm going to plug it in first. So 2 times whatever B is, I need to make it 2. Okay, so 2 times 2 plus 2. Grouping symbols first. So 2 plus 2 gives me 4. So I have 2 times 4, which gives me 8. I used the plug it in postulate. Okay, oh, now I made it harder. I gave you all 3 variables. We want to keep those grouping symbols. Oops, keep the grouping symbols, keep the signs, plug the values in first. We're not going to try and do this in our head. We're going to do 1 plus 2 divided by 3. Okay, that way if you make a mistake and you just plugged it in wrong, then I can at least see where you made your mistake. So 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. There are no bonus points for doing things in your head. Algebra is how we got the solution, not just the solution, okay? All right, how can we evaluate that a little bit differently? Okay, so the next two I'm going to go over in class tomorrow. We're going to do those just to make sure you guys have got all the grouping symbols. Let's move on to the area formula. It says if the area formula of a rectangle is area equals length times width. I threw that in there because that is a formula I expect you to know. Area equals length times width. Evaluate or find the area when L equals 25 and W equals 12. So that means just plug in 25 for L, 12 for W. Okay, and now you have to multiply. Let's try and do this without a calculator. Lots of ways you can do it. Some of you, I'm going to give you a second to do it. The way I probably would do it is I always say, well, that's pretty close to 10. So I did 25 times 10, which is 250. And then I need 2 more 25s, which is 50. And I get 300. Okay? So my area is 300. Okay? All right. Moving on. Let's just make sure we really understand it all. 4 times 5, parentheses, 3 squared plus 1 minus 1, okay? So, if you know this, this has got everything in it. It's got multiplication, division, grouping symbols, and exponents. We've got to do the exponent first because we go to the parentheses. So now we're inside the parentheses and it's addition, but exponents comes before addition. So I get 4 times 5 divided by 3 squared is 9, 9 plus 1 is 10. So 10 and then minus 1. 4 times 5 divided by 10 minus 1. Well, 4 times 5 is 20. 20 divided by 10 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. So hopefully you understand and can appreciate the order of operations and why it's important. It is what I like to refer to as the God of math. When you're evaluating an expression or you're looking at an expression, you have to follow order of operations. So GEMDAS. All right, so what I want you guys to do now is I'd like you to finish the page. Just the page that you're looking at now. The remaining will be tomorrow in class. I will just follow up and review a little bit more tomorrow in class, and then we will get to work. So hopefully you enjoyed your first video. If at any point I went too fast, just rewind and watch it again, okay? Have a great night.